Hello everyone, welcome to the course on chemistry, and there we are discussing about one of the chapter, that is states of matter. In previous video we have seen what is matter and what are the different physical states of matter and what are the properties of those forms of matter, that is the properties of solids we have learnt, properties of liquids and properties of gases. All the properties we have learnt, and also I have told you there are another two states of matter along with these solids, liquids and gas, that is plasma and Bose-Einstein condensate. So now ಏನೇನು ಕಲಿತ್ವಿ, ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೇನು ಮತ್ತು ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್ದ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಭೌತಿಕ ಲಕ್ಷಣಗಳನ್ನು ಕಲಿತ್ವಿ ಮತ್ತು ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟೀಸ್, ಹೌದಾ, ಸಾಲಿಡ್ಸ್, ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಗ್ಯಾಸ್ ಅದರ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟೀಸ್ ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡ್ವಿ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ನೌ ಇನ್ ಟುಡೇಸ್ ಲೆಕ್ಚರ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಟು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ intermolecular force. Intermolecular force. So what does this intermolecular force? Before going to this intermolecular force ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ಏನು ಅದು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ನಾ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಹೇಳಿನಿ. So in previously I have told you that in solids there is a strong intermolecular force, and in liquids there is a weak intermolecular force, and in gases the intermolecular force is negligible. So why that change in intermolecular force takes place, and from where that intermolecular force comes in the molecules. ಎರಡು ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ ಅದಾವು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ತಿಳ್ಕೊರಿ. ಆ ಎರಡು ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ ಒಂದಕ್ಕೊಂದು ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಏನು ರೀಸನ್, ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದಿ ರೀಸನ್ ಫಾರ್ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್? ಓಕೆ, ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ನೋ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ as the magnitude of the intermolecular force increases, it also increases the melting point and boiling point of the particular substances. ಯಾವಾಗ ಇಂಟರ್ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗತ್ತ ಅವಾಗ ಏನಾಗತ್ತೆ ರೀ, ಬಾಯ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ಮೆಲ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ನು ಏನಾಗ್ತಾವು, ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗ್ತಾವೆ. ಸೊ ಇನ್ ಟುಡೇಸ್ ಲೆಕ್ಚರ್ ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ intermolecular force and what are the reasons for attraction of molecules and why that intermolecular force varies from one molecule to another molecule. ಒಂದು ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ ಅಥವಾ ಒಂದು ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಇರೋಷ್ಟು ಇಂಟರ್ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಏನಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ದಿ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ಆಫ್ intermolecular force or the value of intermolecular force go on changes from one substance to another substance. So what is the reason for that, and what are the different types of intermolecular forces, that we will discuss now. So first of all, intermolecular force. What does this intermolecular force means? So let us consider the two molecules, okay, and call it as A and this one as B. So it is a normal molecule. Now when these two molecules or these two particles attract each other, then that force which exists between these two particles is said to be intermolecular force. That means intermolecular force can be defined as the attractive force which is present between the particles is said to be intermolecular force. ಎರಡು ಕಣಗಳ ನಡುವೆ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್, ಆಕರ್ಷಣಾ ಬಲಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಇಂಟರ್ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. Now there are different types of intermolecular force, and all those forces are collectively known as van der Waals forces. ಈ ಒಂದು ಇಂಟ್ರಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಟೈಪ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತಾವೆ. ಆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇಂಟ್ರಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಯೂಶ್ವಲಿ ದೇ ಆರ್ ವೀಕ್. ಎಲ್ಲ ಇಂಟ್ರಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಏನಿರ್ತಾವೆ, ವೀಕ್ ಇರ್ತಾವೆ. ಆ ವೀಕ್ ಇಂಟ್ರಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಫೋರ್ಸಸ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಹೆಸರು ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಅದು ಯಾವುದು, wan der Waals ಫೋರ್ಸಸ್. ಆಲ್ ದಿ ವೀಕ್ ಇಂಟರ್ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಫೋರ್ಸಸ್ are collectively known as van der Waals forces. And this van der Waal, this is the name of the scientist, and also he got the Nobel Prize for discovering the presence of attractive force between the particles. ಆ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ನಡ್ಬರ್ಕ ವೀಕ್ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಡಿಸ್ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಏನಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟರು, ನೊಬೆಲ್ ಪ್ರೈಸನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟರು. ಸೊ what are those weak van der Waals forces? These van der Waals forces are classified mainly into three types. Those are dipole-dipole forces, dipole-dipole forces. The second one is dipole-induced dipole forces, dipole-induced dipole forces, and the third one is dispersion force or London force. Dispersion force or London force. So these are the three different types of weak forces. Those are van der Waals forces. These are nothing but intermolecular forces, and these intermolecular forces are said to be van der Waals forces, and in that we will distinguish them into dipole-dipole forces, dipole-induced dipole forces, and dispersion force or London force. And along with these three, there is another bond or another attractive force which is present between the molecules, that is hydrogen bond. Hydrogen bond. This is not observed in most of the molecules. Only in few molecules we will observe this hydrogen bond, and hence it is also considered as van der Waals force. And among these four, the hydrogen bond is the strongest bond. All these are weak forces only, but hydrogen bond somewhat comparatively it is strong bond. ಇವು ನಾಲ್ಕು ಫೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಏನಿರ್ತಾವು, ವೀಕ್ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಫೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಇರ್ತಾವು. ಬಟ್ ಈ ನಾಲ್ಕರೊಳಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಇರುವಂಥದ್ದು ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಯಾವುದು, ಹೈಡ್ರೋಜನ್ ಬಾಂಡ್. ಸೊ ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಒನ್ ಬೈ ಒನ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದೀಸ್ ಫೋರ್ಸಸ್. So the first type of weak van der Waals force or intermolecular force is dipole-dipole forces. So what does this dipole-dipole forces means? First let us take an example. A molecule HCl, and it is known as hydrogen chloride, and there is a force of attraction present between these two atoms, and that is covalent bond. So due to the formation of covalent bond, the electrons are present at the center of these two atoms. Here the bond is covalent bond. Covalent bond means the bond formed by the sharing of electrons. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ಬಾಂಡ್ ಇರುತ್ತಾ, ಕೋವೆಲೆಂಟ್ ಬಾಂಡ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಸರ್ವೆಲೆನ್ಸಿ ಬಂಧ. that I have already explained in bridge course. Bridge course ಒಳಗೆ ನಾ ಏನು ಮಾಡೀನಿ, ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಶೇರಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ at the center of two atoms the electrons are present, and now this is hydrogen atom and this is chlorine atom. As we compare the electronegativities of these two atoms, the chlorine is more electronegative. Chlorine is more electronegative. So again, you come up with a new word, that is electronegative. So what does this electronegative means? Electronegative, ವಿದ್ಯುತ್ ಋಣೀಯ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. So electronegative means it is the tendency of an atom or element to attract an electron. ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಅಟಮ್ ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನನ್ನು ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುವಂಥ ಟೆಂಡೆನ್ಸಿಗೆ ನಾವೇನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರೋನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಅಟಮ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಕಂಪೇರ್ಡ್ ಟು hydrogen and Cl is more electronegative. That means it has more tendency to attract the electrons towards it. ತನ್ನ ಕಡೆ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುವಂಥ ಪವರ್ Cl ಗೆ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. As a result of that, the electrons which are initially present at the centers of these two atoms, these electrons will slightly shift to Cl, near to Cl, and we can represent it as the electrons gets closer to Cl. Okay, and this hydrogen will not leave completely the electrons. ಈ ಹೈಡ್ರೋಜನ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಅನ್ನು ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಬಿಟ್ಕೊಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ಬಟ್ ಡ್ಯೂ ಟು the more electronegativity of Cl, the electrons slightly shift near to the Cl atom. As a result of that, the Cl, it will get the small negative charge on it, and H, it has lack of electrons and gains small positive charge. So what does this small negative charge, which is also known as partial charge? Partial charge. So what does this partial charge means? You know, electrons and protons have charges, and the charge of electron is how much? Charge of electron is 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb. That is minus. Okay, because electron is negatively charged particle, and proton, the charge of proton is plus 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb. It is the complete charge. Okay, one charge means 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb. It is complete charge. But I have mentioned here, it is small charge or partial charge. ಒಂದು ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಇಷ್ಟು ಬರಿತೀವಿ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ, minus 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19. But partial charge ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಏನು? Partial charge means here not completely one electron is there. ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಏನಾಗಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. Since it is slightly near to the Cl, ಅದು Cl ಗೆ ನಿಯರ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. As a result of that, it will get small negative charge or small positive charge, and this small charge is represented by the symbol delta, and here it gains negative charge, hence we will write it as delta minus, and here we will write the delta small positive charge. The H will get small positive charge and Cl will get small negative charge. Suppose if I consider NaCl, okay, so Na can be written as Na plus and Cl minus. Here we will write the complete charge. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವೇನು ಬರಿತೀರಿ, ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಬರಿತೀರಿ, because Na has completely lost the electrons. ಅಲ್ಲಿ Na ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಿ Cl ಗೆ ಬಿಟ್ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಏನು ಬರುತ್ತಾ, ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಬರುತ್ತಾ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಲಾಸ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಿ, ಸೊ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಇದು ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೈಡ್ರೋಜನ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಿ Cl ಗೆ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಬಿಟ್ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ದಿ H, it has not lost electrons completely to the Cl, As a result of that, it only gains partial charge and which is negative because electrons are near to the Cl, hence it is negative charge. And here electron will move towards Cl and hence it will get a small positive charge as there is no electron near to this hydrogen. ಈ ಹೈಡ್ರೋಜನ್ ಕಡೆ ಯಾವುದು ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಇರಲಾರ್ದಕ್ಕ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಬರುತ್ತಾ ಡೆಲ್ಟಾ ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಪ್ರೋಟಾನ್ at the center of the atom, that is in nucleus, it has proton and that proton has positive charge. Okay, so this will get delta plus partial positive charge and this will get partial negative charge, and this thing is said to be pole. We can call it as pole. Okay, and it is also one pole. ಇವಕ್ಕೆ ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು, ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು, ಪೋಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಓಕೆ, ಆಸ್ ಚಾರ್ಜಸ್, ಇಫ್ ಎನಿ ಅಟಮ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಸೇಡ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಅಯಾನ್ and we will mention another name, that is poles. Okay, it has negative charge, hence it is one pole. It has positive charge, it is also one pole. So how many poles are formed? There are totally 2 poles and hence it is said to be dipole. ಇಲ್ಲಿ 2 ಪೋಲ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಆಗೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಡೈ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ 2 and 2 charged atoms or particles are there, hence it is said to be dipoles. 2 poles formation ಆದಾಗ, so the charge, if atom or any species have charge on it, partial charge on it, then it is said to be pole, and 2 poles are there and hence it is said to be dipoles. And this type of force which is present between 2 HCl molecules is said to be dipole-dipole forces. So it is one molecule, it is one dipole. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಏನಾಯಿತು, dipole formation ಆಯಿತು. Next I will consider another molecule of HCl. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು HCl molecule ತಗೊಂಡೆ ನಾನು. Again this Cl, it has small negative charge and this one will have small positive charge. So see here, it is having plus charge and it is having minus charge. It is also dipole. Idunu ondenu dipole. So this is HCl molecule and this one is also HCl molecule. ಇದನ್ನು HCl molecule, ಇದನ್ನು HCl molecule. ಈಗ 2 ಏನಾದವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡೈಪೋಲ್ಸ್ ಅದಾವ. ವಿಲ್ ದೇ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಈಚ್ ಅದರ್? 2 ಒಂದಕ್ಕೊಂದು ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ಬಹುದಾ? ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಸಿ ಹಿಯರ್, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ಡೆಲ್ಟಾ ಮೈನಸ್ and it is having delta plus charge. So when we bring these 2 HCl molecules near to each other, they will start to attract each other. Since it is having negative charge and it is having positive charge, a attractive force is formed between these 2 molecules. 2 molecules ನಡುಬರ್ಕ ಒಂದು ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. That attractive force which is formed between 2 permanent dipoles is said to be dipole-dipole forces. ಇದು ಒಂದು permanent dipole. Permanent means this charge present on Cl at every time. ಯಾವಾಗ ನೋಡಿದ್ರು ಈ HCl molecule ಒಳಗೆ Cl ಮೇಲೆ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಮೈನಸ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಎವ್ರಿ ಟೈಮ್ in HCl molecule, Cl has negative charge and H has positive charge. ಇದು ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಯಸ್ ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ಮೈನಸ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಇರತ್ತಾವ. ಪರ್ಮನೆಂಟ್ಲಿ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಆನ್ H and Cl and hence it is said to be permanent dipole. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, permanent dipole ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. So it is permanent dipole and it is also HCl molecule. These delta plus partial positive charge and partial negative charge are always present in HCl molecule and hence it is also ಎ ಪರ್ಮನೆಂಟ್ ಡೈಪೋಲ್. ಇದನ್ನು ಏನಾಗತ್ತೆ ರೀ, ಪರ್ಮನೆಂಟ್ ಡೈಪೋಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಈಸ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ಟೂ ಪರ್ಮನೆಂಟ್ ಡೈಪೋಲ್ಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಸೆಡ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಡೈಪೋಲ್ ಫೋರ್ಸಸ್. ಈ ಎರಡು ಪರ್ಮನೆಂಟ್ ಡೈಪೋಲ್ಸ್ ನಡುವೆ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಫೋರ್ಸಿಗೆ ನಾವೇನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಡೈಪೋಲ್ ಫೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್ ದಿ ಪರ್ಮನೆಂಟ್ ಡೈಪೋಲ್, ಓಕೆ. ಸೊ ಡ್ಯೂ ಟು ದಿ ಪ್ರೆಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಪಾರ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್, ಪಾರ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೇನು, ಹಾಫ್, ಅರ್ಧ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದಂಗೆ. ಸೊ ಡ್ಯೂ ಟು ದಿ ಪ್ರೆಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ these partial positive and negative charges in a molecule, a dipole is formed and the attractive force which is present between two permanent dipoles is said to be dipole forces. And example for this kind of force is HCl. Okay, hydrogen chloride is one of the best example for dipole forces. And here this attractive force is dependent on distance between the two molecules and it is denoted as R. R means distance between two molecules. The distance between two molecules or atoms is said to be R. And this force of attraction is inversely proportional to r raised to 6. Okay, r power 6, inversely proportional. Inversely proportional ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, as the distance increases, the force of attraction decreases. Distance ಹೆಚ್ಚಾದಂಗ force of attraction ಏನಾಗುತ್ತಾ, ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತಾ. Okay, so remember it is inversely proportional to 1 by r to the power 6, because as the distance between the molecules increases, the attractive force gets decreases. Suppose the force increases, then the distance decreases. Distance ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಯಿತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ force of attraction ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗುತ್ತಾ. ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಯಿತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಡಿಸ್ಟನ್ಸ್ ಏನಿರುತ್ತಾ, ಹೆಚ್ಚಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಅಪಾನ್ ಇನ್ವರ್ಸ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಪೋರ್ಷನಲ್ ಟು ಆರ್ ಇಟ್ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಅಪಾನ್ ದ ಡಿಸ್ಟನ್ಸ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ದಿ ಟೂ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದಿ ಡೈಪೋಲ್ ಫೋರ್ಸಸ್. ಸೊ ನೌ ಆಸ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸ್ಟಡೀಡ್ ವಾಟ್ ಡಸ್ ದಿ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ಡೈಪೋಲ್ ಫೋರ್ಸಸ್, then you have also studied the example for an dipole force, that is HCl. Now the question comes, in which kind of molecules this type of dipole force may observed? ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಾದಂಥ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಡೈಪೋಲ್ ಫೋರ್ಸಸ್ ನಾವು ನೋಡಬಹುದು. This dipole force, it is mainly observed in polar molecules. ಯಾವ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ ಒಳಗೆ ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಪೋಲಾರ್ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಡಸ್ polar molecules means? Polar molecules, these are the molecules which are having the charges on them. Polar molecules ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ simply ಇದ ತಗೋರಿ example HCl. Let us take this HCl as an example, and as you can observe here, there is a charge on the H and Cl and H and Cl. So here the charges or poles are present, and these poles are said to be dipoles, and these such molecules which are having poles or charges on them are said to be polar molecules. ಯಾವ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಚಾರ್ಜಸ್ ಇರ್ತಾವಲ್ಲ ಅಂಥ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ಗೆ ನಾವೇನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಪೋಲಾರ್ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಡ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದೇರ್ ಈಸ್ ಎ ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಕೋವೆಲೆಂಟ್ ಬಾಂಡ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ಟೂ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರೋನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಅಟಮ್ಸ್. ಈ ರೀತಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಪೋಲಾರ್ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ ಯಾವಾಗ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗ್ತಾವು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ದಿ ಬಾಂಡ್ ವೆನ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಡ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ elements having different electronegativities. Electronegativities ಏನಿರ್ತಾವು different ಇರಬೇಕು. So when the electronegativities are different, then you will get the polar molecule. So polar molecule is formed when the bond is formed between the atoms having different electronegativities. So if they are having same electronegativities, then polar molecules will not be formed. For example, here why the charge is formed here? Ille charge yak formation agutta? Because Cl is more electronegative and H is less electronegative. Due to that, Cl will attract the electrons towards it and gets negative charge, and H will get partial positive charge, and hence poles are formed, and such molecules are said to be polar molecules. So let us consider the molecules which are made up of same kind of atoms. ಈಗ Cl ತಗೊಂಡಿವಿ. The electronegativity of this Cl and electronegativity of this Cl both are same, and hence the electrons will remain as it is. Okay, the electrons which are shared between these two Cl atoms will remain at the center of these molecules. They will not move towards any of the atom. Okay, and hence if I say Cl2 is a molecule, it is not a polar molecule, but it is a non-polar molecule. Non-polar molecule. So non-polar molecule means these are the molecules where the bond, covalent bond is formed between two atoms having same electronegativities. ಎರಡು ಸೇಮ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರೋನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಅಟಮ್ಸ್ ನಡುವರಕ್ಕೆ ಬಾಂಡ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅವಾಗ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವೇನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ನಾನ್ ಪೋಲಾರ್ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಪೋಲಾರ್ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ದಿ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ವಿಚ್ ದಿ ಕೋವೆಲೆಂಟ್ ಬಾಂಡ್ ಈಸ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಡ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ಟೂ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ atoms having different electronegativities. And non-polar molecules means the covalent bond formed between the atoms having same electronegativity. Okay, so this is about polar and non-polar molecules. So remember the terms polar and non-polar molecules. Some other examples for non-polar molecules is H2. H2, it is a molecule, but it is non-polar because the bond is formed between same atoms having same electronegativities. If you consider I2, so this is also non-polar because bond is formed between atoms having same electronegativities. And if I consider H2O, it is polar or non-polar? It is a polar molecule because the bond is formed between atoms having different electronegativities. H is having different electronegativity and O is having different electronegativity. Hence O is more electronegative, hence it gets delta minus charge, and this one will get delta plus charge. So it is a polar molecule. So remember these things.